we think of it as a product-led growth for 100x, right? What do I mean by product-led growth? It's basically a strategy where you rely on using your product as the main vehicle to acquire, activate, and retain customers, right? So it's basically think about like Canva, right? Canva is a free tool you can use, and then once you start loving it, you want to pay for the premium features, right? That's what product-led growth is, right? It gives you a taste. It's try before you buy. And so I think of, or we think of Gurukul as a product-led growth for 100x beyond just the, kind of access and a non-profit initiative. It's a way for founders to really experience the kind of mentorship that 100x brings to the table, right? It gives the founders a taste of the access to knowledge, to mentors, to clients, to investors that 100x has. All this through the content that we're sharing with them. What 100X.VC is, like I said, just as a refresher, first check investor. So we've invested in 70 startups until now. We invest in about 10 startups every quarter, completely sector agnostic. Only thing is first check and India domiciled, right? Gurukul is basically a non-profit initiative we started to give founders access to mentorship from entrepreneurs, investors, operators who've been there, done that. Basic funda is access to knowledge is one of the biggest barriers that can help founders cross the chasm of death early on, right? And most people who are not from let's say the IITs, BITS, or who haven't seen the entrepreneurship journey themselves yet, may not have access to knowledge, access to the right people where they understand how to build startups, what to do, what not to do. And it's crucial that the industry takes as much effort as it can to nurture not just the best founders who already know what to do and how to do it, but also those who know how to build but would may not know everything about building a business, right? So that was kind of the origin point from which we came, was to create a initiative through which we could give these founders who may not know, first-time founders who may not know as much about entrepreneurship, access to the right resources so that they could really reshape their business, rethink their approaches, and ready their business for growth. So just on a structure basis, we have one cohort every quarter. We've already done 2 cohorts in 2021 in Q3 and Q4, and we've just recently announced that we'll be starting cohort 3 soon enough in Q1 2022. Until now, for per cohort, we've had 200 startups, so that's 400 startups in total, and about 350 founders every cohort, so that's 700 founders in total. So and the content is typically a mix of pre-recorded masterclasses and live masterclasses that we arrange, right? So over the last 2 quarters, we've shared our content for free with 700 people, and it's given us a great when founders become a part of Gurukul. So it's a simple process, right? There's a simple form, short form, takes 10 minutes to fill up. Founders fill it up, and then basis what they filled it up, we kind of shortlist the founders we believe would value most or gain most value from Gurukul, and kind of give them access and tell them, hey, you're part of the next cohort and we're giving you access to the Knorish platform now. So when they do, we also give them certain creatives that they can post on LinkedIn, on Twitter, etc., announcing that they're part of Gurukul, right? And founders tend to really appreciate that. Our founders tend to love that and take a pride in being part of this small in-group, this small community who has access to knowledge. Because of this, there's a much higher chance that they will appreciate working with 100x, right? There's a much higher chance because they've already experienced the product in person, the value we bring to the table, the kind of mentorship, the kind of knowledge we bring to the table for founders, right? And so on the hand, we see that 90% of these Gurukul founders apply for 100X.VC multiple times after the cohort, right? So we've seen each and every, 90% of the founders who were part of the cohort apply at least twice or thrice. And in our mails saying, hey, I'd like to be a part of 100X.VC's actual investing class, right? Which is super because these are also all qualified leads for us, right? These are leads who really understand what 100x product is, the kind of mentorship and a kind of vision we bring, but also because they've gone through the content and mentorship to some extent, they're already shaped in a certain way, which makes them ready to be more investable through us. Also important is it helps us build a larger distribution again, right? Where 75% of Gurukul founders are referred at least two founders for the next cohort, which is amazing. Post the Gurukul cohort happens, we send out a feedback form and we ask each and every one of them to give us certain feedback saying, did you like it? Did you not like it? We've actually done a whole separate PR for cohort one where you can read through the stats of, kind of how positive it was. But one stat I wanted to highlight just from this perspective, from a growth perspective, was that almost 75% of them referred at least two founders, right? Which is amazing because for every one we're acquiring, we're getting two more leads. I wanted to highlight something. So, for example, this is an unsolicited video from founders, right? And this is like just 1 week ago. They loved the Gurukul concept so much and they gained so much that, they posted it publicly on their company profile saying this was amazing and like a proper video. I was not even text. Really appreciate this love. Similarly, these are some quotes we've received on. Sorry, can you guys? Am I lost? Hello? Hello? Okay, perfect. Sorry, I thought I got lost somehow. But yeah, so I was saying these courses were a great tool for us to build trust in our brand and to build thought leadership, right? It allowed us to create trust, not just from our portfolio companies, right? Companies we've invested in who have an incentive, because they are a buyer of a product as in a sense, who have an incentive to say that 100X is a great firm to raise from. But also, from people who've no association, who have no economic ties to us, and they're still appreciating the work we do, which leads to a lot of trust in brand, of course. But we also get to do a lot of thought leadership, right? Because of the kind of content we put in. We've got content from ideation to fundraising, finance to marketing, positioning, whatever you call it, right? From 100 plus mentors, including the 100X team. It puts us ahead as a thought leader in certain aspects, right? There are certain concepts that we introduce in Gurukul, which we see repeated very frequently in posts tagging us, right? So works very well for us. And yeah, that's broadly been kind of the journey that we've taken with Gurukul and how we've thought of it. So just to summarize, for us, Gurukul was meant as a non-profit initiative, but it turned out to be a great way for us to create brand awareness and trust, because once founders were part of the Gurukul community, they wanted to tell the world that they were part of the Gurukul community, which was fantastic for us. Second, it led to a product-led growth model where all of these founders learned firsthand, got a taste of what 100X brings to the table, and that makes them want to be part of 100X portfolio even more. And the final part is, post event, they consistently give great feedback to us and post it publicly in the open, which helps us drive even more people to joining 100X and looking to work with 100X and partner with 100X.
That's the real vision for Knorish. We believe content distribution and monetization are two important pillars. You don't monetize it directly, but ultimately our goal is that we build funnels, we build technology in our platform where any business that you're running, according to the age-old wisdom of Ogilvy as well, what he wrote about in Ogilvy for advertising, that any good campaign must have content as its heart, because if it does not, you're not going to engage the audience. So either it's invoking an emotion, using some content to educate, and I think you're using the platform in an amazing way. That's why we wanted people to know about the amazing online programs that 100X.VC does. And I can testify and vouch for it. We were one of the first class, and we were the only class for the last 6 batches where we were physically kind of meeting people in the 100X.VC premises, and it was just awesome.